In this video we will be examining the Emotional Spiral Chart Level 7. This is a multi-level series brought to you by Insight and Senses. I hope you have been following along with this series as we delve into the journey of raising one's vibration through the examination of various emotions. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So glad you're here. Now let us begin Level 7. In Level 7 we will be examining the emotions of failure, hatred and doubt. To start off Level 7 we will examine the emotion of failure. What is failure? Failure is defined as a lack of success or the inability to meet an expectation. Understanding failure. The problem is that we can read too much into failure. Too often we tie it to our sense of self-worth, self-esteem and self-acceptance. The expectation we fail to meet is often our own, or one that we've created in our own head. Most of us don't set out looking to fail at anything. And we especially don't want to be labeled as a failure. But maybe that is a mistake. Failure can be useful. We can learn from it, gain new insights and do better next time. The right kind of failures give us new information and teach us something that gets us closer to our goals. Some live by the motto, if you aren't failing, you aren't taking big enough risks. Said another way, if everything you try turns out exactly as planned and feels very comfortable, you probably aren't stretching yourself. And if you aren't stretching, you aren't growing. There are 3 stages of failure. 1. Failure of vision. When you are not clear about what you want or your personal why. When you don't know what you want out of life. Or if you are not feeling purpose and meaning in your life, then you might be having a failure of vision. This is where looking inward and focusing on your own well-being can make a difference. 2. Failure of tactics. When you know what you want but don't have a clear or effective plan for achieving it. Even those who are effective at strategic planning in the workplace sometimes struggle, especially with translating those skills into tactics for personal or leadership development. This is where habit tracking and development can be very effective. 3. Failure of strategy. When you have a plan and follow it but still do not achieve your goal. An endless number of factors could be affecting your success. They may be related or unrelated to your plan. Failure of strategy is an ideal moment to employ your design thinking skills and get working on the next iteration or plan. Overcoming failure. Accept your feelings and acknowledge your failure. Reflect on what went wrong. Identify the causes of your failure. Take a break and recharge. Reach out to others for help. Learn from the experience. Set realistic goals and expectations. Celebrate small wins and progress. Be thankful for all that you have learned. Remind yourself, you can do anything. Now just believe. Next we will address the emotion of hatred. What is hatred? Hatred or hate is an intense negative emotional response towards certain people, things or ideas, usually related to opposition or revulsion towards something. Hatred is often associated with intense feelings of anger, contempt and disgust. Hatred is sometimes seen as the opposite of love. Why do people hate? Hate is part of the range of human emotions. Some researchers believe all people have the capacity to hate, while others believe true hatred is uncommon. What does seem clear is that hatred tends to emerge as a learned emotion that flourishes in the absence of compassion. Feelings of hatred or intense emotional dislike develop for many reasons. People might begin to hate another person or group when they feel envy or want what the other person has. They may consider it unfair that someone has what they lack. Have contempt for another person or believe them to be inferior. Learn hatred from parents, their community or other social groups. Are humiliated or mistreated by another person. People also hate when they feel powerless. Rather than turning their anxiety and shame inward, they may project that negativity onto an external target. In some cases, people who experience bullying or abuse may grow to hate the person who harmed them. Unlike anger, there is no physiological pattern that is characteristic of hate, because hate is a long-term experience. Someone can do something to make you immediately angry, but usually, you need more information to hate someone. In the heat of the moment, however, the arousal patterns of hate in the brain and the body may be similar to anger. Dealing with hatred. People only realize that hate is something much bigger, that it includes the desire to eliminate others. Maybe they would change the way they use the word. It takes emotional intelligence to discern between feelings. but it is something that can be developed. Perhaps making people understand what they are actually thinking and feeling and why when they say, "I hate you," is disentangling the different ingredients of their negative emotions, which might be helpful. Hate can dissolve over time if 1. The hated individual/group leaves your life. 2. Changes completely, or 3. If you can work on changing the way you think about them. But don't count on it happening from one day to another. One needs to work on the disappearance of hate like one has to work on maintaining love. Show compassion. You can do it. Show love. You have it within. Have empathy. Share emotion. We have reached the last emotion of level 7. Doubt. Doubt is a partial or intermittent negative reinforcement that can create an effective climate of fear and doubt. Doubt is a mental state in which the mind remains suspended between two or more contradictory propositions and is uncertain about them. Doubt on an emotional level is indecision between belief and disbelief. It may involve uncertainty, distrust, or lack of conviction on certain facts, actions, motives, or decisions. Doubt can result in delaying or rejecting relevant action out of concern for mistakes or missed opportunities. At its core, doubt is a state of uncertainty or a feeling of hesitation about the truth, reality, or nature of something. It's the voice in our head that whispers, "Are you sure about that?" just when we think we've got it all figured out. Cognitive processes, on the other hand, are the mental activities involved in acquiring, processing, and using information. These include things like perception, memory, problem-solving, and decision-making. When you're trying to solve a difficult math problem or plan your route to work, you're engaging in cognitive processes. Common indications that you may be dealing with self-doubt in your personal or professional life include: 1. You can't accept compliments from others and you can't give yourself credit. 2. You constantly seek reassurance. 3. You have low self-esteem. 4. You feel like you're never good enough. Here are 8 steps to overcoming fear and doubt. 1. Practice self-compassion. Self-doubt means that you're holding yourself back. It arises from the fear of making a mistake, but mistakes are how we grow and improve our own abilities. Look at yourself in the mirror and say 3 positive affirmations at the beginning of every day. 2. Think back to your past achievements. Self-reflection is a fantastic tool. It reminds us that we're capable of what we want to achieve. But living in the past can take away from the present moment. Learning from what's happened, not dwelling on the bad, and focusing on using the lessons you've learned from those times to improve the present is what truly matters. 3. Try not to compare yourself to others. Self-doubt can also arise when you measure yourself up against a family member, colleague, or even a celebrity. Everyone's life is different, and someone else excelling doesn't mean you don't have any strengths. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on yourself. It's one of the best ways to stay happy and accomplish your dreams. 4. Spend your time with supportive people. Being around people who put us down is one of the worst things for our mental health. Some people won't support you, but others absolutely will. Spend your time with people who make you feel good. They can build you up when you're struggling to encourage yourself. 5. Remember, you are your biggest inner critic. No one holds us to a higher standard than ourselves. You wouldn't put down your mother for not being chosen for a job or your sister for not receiving top marks on her school essay, so why do that to yourself? Apologizing to yourself is one of the most important steps toward healing and moving forward. 6. Seek professional help. It's okay to ask for help, especially if self-doubt is a persistent obstacle that you're facing. Talking about our feelings and insecurities allows us to unburden ourselves and be heard. 7. Start journaling. Make an effort to record what you are thankful for and what you're proud of doing each day. Your journal may cover everything from earning a promotion at work or remembering to do the dishes. The more frequently you practice loving yourself, the easier it gets. 8. Be skeptical of your thoughts. You aren't your thoughts. Question how accurate or helpful they are. Negative thinking is a mental habit that consumes us more than it should. You can undo your habits too. It just takes patience and commitment. Remind yourself daily, you're worth it. Now, just smile. We have now come to the end of level 7. As promised, here are some tips and techniques you may want to consider. Here are the presentation slides if you wish to review. You can pause at any time to read through. Thank you for joining me on level 6. I hope you have enjoyed this journey so far. Like, share, and subscribe if you would like more video content like this one. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.